Hello everybody and welcome to another video on Show Her Football. Today we're gonna go over round one on the women's side of Besta Deildin here in Iceland. Round one finished yesterday at the time of this recording, and already we are starting to see a few ideas how everything is going to turn out. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive straight into it. So the first game that we're going to take a look at is Vestmannaeyjar versus Stjarnan. Last season, those two teams were pretty similar in terms of strengths and all of that. So beforehand, we could have expected that this game would be a little bit close. It ended in a 1-1 draw, where Vestmannaeyjar managed to take the lead in the 20th minute, but late into the second half, Stjarnan managed to equalize. But overall, the game was less than spectacular. Let's just put it that way. It didn't start so well. It was the opening match for the women, but yeah, it showed that this was a fight between two really equal teams. So yeah, Vestmannaeyjar were actually stronger in the first half, whereas Stjarnan were stronger in the second half. So 1-1 draw. It's not the worst for either team. They're both expected to be around, well, mid-table finish. More on that later, what that means. But yeah, there's a lot of teams in the women's league that are kind of bunched up together. There's like 4 teams that are gonna battle for the relegation zone. Two teams that are basically gonna fight for the title. The rest are just doing their own thing, kind of on a similar level. More on that later. But Vestmannaeyjar and Stjarnan, they're not on those. They're not those teams. So yeah, they're kind of on the same terms strength wise. So 1-1 draw. It wasn't that much of a shocker. Then next up we have Valur versus Þróttur. So Valur are the current champions of Besta Deildin, and they are one of the teams that should be pretty much winning almost every game, except for one other team, which is, well, you can see it down below. It's Breiðablik. But yeah, Valur versus Þróttur. This was a game where both teams were just, it's early days in the league. It's just the first round, so it's starting slow. Valur have actually a lot of national team players in their squads, so it's not a surprise that they managed to win in the end. But if this was further into the season, you would expect Valur to win a little bit more than 2-0. But hey, victory is a victory. It's 3 points. They can't really complain about anything at this point. Meanwhile, Þróttur Reykjavík, I mean, it depends on how the next match goes, but if they don't start that good, they could actually be in a little bit of a trouble, but they are kind of expected to be, somewhere around mid-table finish, similar to Vestmannaeyjar and Stjarnan that we talked about earlier. But yeah, pretty obvious results, nothing more to say. So yeah, we're gonna move on to Breiðablik versus Þór or KA. Now, so a little bit about Þór Akureyri and KA, or Knattspyrnufélag Akureyrar. These are two teams that are both based in Akureyri, which is a town in northern part of Iceland. And on the women's side, they are working together and to create like a one big team, which, to be fair, is working decently for them. But on the men's side, those are teams that pretty much hate each other. So it's kind of strange seeing that they can work together on the women's side, but not on the man's side. But hey, that's So yeah, about the game itself, Breiðablik versus Þór, or just Akureyri, I guess. Yeah, we'll just stick with Akureyri. A little bit about that game. There was really no doubt who's gonna win that game. Breiðablik are probably around the title favorites. They were second last season because of unlucky defeats here and there, while Valur just won everything. Breiðablik and Valur are the two teams in this league that you can basically just... It's kind of similar to Bayern München versus Dortmund. Real Madrid and Barcelona. PSG... Well, okay. Bad example, I guess. Manchester City and Liverpool. You know, that's Valur and Breiðablik on the women's side. They're just... Yeah, these are just the two strongest teams. Nobody is even close to them. And they should win... They're kind of expected to win every single game, except internal games between them. That's going to be a 50-50 game. Both of these teams have national players in their teams. Quite a few of them, actually, to be honest. So yeah, it's really hard to compete against those two teams. But hey, I mean, I guess to the credits of the girls, they can put aside all of those differences and just work together as one to be the best teams in the northern part of the country. So kudos to them. Maybe the men's could learn something from them. Anyways, moving on to KR versus Keflavík. Now, this is a fight between two teams that are expected to be around the relegation area. These teams, Keflavík barely managed to escape relegation last season, so they were expected to again be around the relegation area. And KR Reykjavík on the women's side, they are new to this league. They won the first division last season with relative ease. So yeah, everyone knew that they were going to be in the relegation zone. So losing 4-0 to Keflavík actually hurts quite a bit. And it's a little bit shocking to see because, like I mentioned, these are two teams that should be in the relegation zone, should be kind of close to each other. Unlike Breiðablik versus Akureyri. So yeah, seeing that Keflavík won this game 4-0 is kind of a shock, because it just shows that... Okay, let's put it like this. Both teams have strengthened their squads quite a bit during the off-season and all of that. So it was expected to be kind of a hard battle between both of these teams. So seeing that Keflavík managed to score 4 against no goals for KR Reykjavík, it's a strange thing to see, because everyone expected KR Reykjavík to put up a little bit more fight against Keflavík than this. I mean, sure, they could have lost the game and all of that, but not with 4-0. That's a little bit of a shock. But yeah, it's the first round. Maybe they were just a little bit scared about not to finally showing up to the top league again or something like that. The KR women. But yeah, if they don't learn from this soon, like real soon, it's gonna be a long summer for KR Reykjavík. But kudos to Keflavík. They did a fantastic job. They used the chances that they got, scored 4 goals. when they scored the third goal, it kind of just killed everything, every momentum that KR Reykjavík had. So from then on, Keflavík basically just controlled the game. They could basically do whatever they wanted at that point. So 4-0, well done to Keflavík. KR Reykjavík, they're gonna need to take a deeper look in this game and figure out what they did wrong, what they did right, and how they can come back from it real soon. Because if they don't find solutions real soon, yeah, then they're gonna go just straight down again. Which leads us to Afturelding versus Selfoss. Afturelding are also a team that are new to the best league. They came up from the first division last season, where they ended up second after a huge battle in the last round against F8's Hafnarfjörður. So yeah, it was known that they, along with KR Reykjavík, Keflavík, and possibly Þróttur, that these three, that especially these three teams, KR Reykjavík, Keflavík, and Afturelding, they're going to struggle quite a bit and be in the relegation zone on pretty much the entire season. Þróttur Reykjavík, they could get down there, but if they play their hands correctly, they can easily avoid it as well. And yeah, Selfoss, it's just they are kind of closer to Valur and Breiðablik, so it's not such a huge surprise that they managed to win that easily. But then again, you probably would be expecting something along the lines of 2-0 victory, maybe 3-1, 3-2, something like that. But yeah, 4-1, that's just really well done for Selfoss. And Afturelding are kind of in the similar position as KR Reykjavík. They really need to figure out what they did well in this game, what they did wrong, and they really have to try and figure out solutions about their gameplay if they don't want to be in the same spot as KR Reykjavík and just go straight down again. And they have to do this again real soon. So this is how the table is currently. This is the first round, of course, so you can't read too much into it. Although, if you think about the fact that Breiðablik and Valur, they are, like I said earlier, the two strongest teams in this league. They are kind of expected to win pretty much everything, except the battle between them. And then you have Selfoss, which is probably the closest team to them, so they can maybe on a good day tease both Breiðablik and Valur, so they probably should be solid in third place overall. And then you have the likes of so yeah, that the fact that those three teams already have 3 points on the board is not a surprise at all. They will be there or thereabouts all season long, and it will be a shock if those three teams don't win everything except a battle between all of those three teams. Selfoss is the most likeliest to lose a game here and there, but overall, this should pretty much be a solid third place. Keflavík, they're on top because they won KR Reykjavík, like mentioned earlier, but overall, they probably should be somewhere around the relegation area. 8th, 9th, 10th, maybe 7th if they're lucky. So yeah, they're the odd ones out for the moment. And then you have Þróttur Reykjavík, Afturelding, and KR Reykjavík. Those three teams are definitely going to be around the relegation area. Afturelding and KR Reykjavík, they are the newcomers to this league, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, so they should be around the relegation area. Þróttur Reykjavík, if they don't watch out for themselves, they can easily get dragged into it. But then we have Stjarnan, Vestmannaeyjar, and Akureyri. these are your kind of mid-table finishers that they're too good to get relegated, but not good enough to challenge for the title or anything of the sorts. So yeah, we already are seeing, even though it's just the first round, we're already seeing kind of similarities to what we are expecting to see throughout the summer, with Keflavík being probably the odd one out. So who knows? Maybe this can be a boost for Keflavík and they just go on a run and win a few matches and be the surprise team overall. If that happens, that's going to be bad news for both Afturelding and KR Reykjavík, because that's going to be even harder for them to stay in this league. So what's that going to mean for round number 2? These are the games that we have for round number 2. And they are starting on Tuesday and ending on Wednesday. Which is kind of the same as round 1 was. So first off, we have Vestmann Island versus Selfoss. This is on the home ground for Vestmann Island, so they could tease a little bit here, but overall we are expecting Selfoss to kind of win this relatively easy. But you know, well, you never know. It's football; anything can happen, especially on home ground. Selfoss needs to travel to another island to go to this match, so it's a possibility that Vestmann Island can tease a little bit, but I don't see how they can actively do anything against Selfoss, so it's probably going to be a relatively easy victory for Selfoss. In terms of numbers, I'm going to guess maybe like 3-0, 4-1, something along those lines. Then we have Akureyri versus Valur, and this is a no-brainer. Valur victory. It shouldn't even be close. This is a guaranteed like 4-0, 5-1, something of the sorts. Although, as we saw earlier, Valur didn't start off that fantastically, but they definitely have a team good enough and the players good enough to annihilate this match. So yeah, that's why I'm predicting, like I said, 4-0, 5-1, something of the sorts. It should be relatively easy for Valur. And then we have what I consider to be the most interesting match of this round. It's between Þróttur R and Afturelding. Afturelding is a newcomer, so they're gonna be somewhere around the relegation area, and Þróttur R, they could also be around the relegation area. So if they want to get out of that relegation area, at least for now, they really need to win this match. And given that this is on their home ground, and they usually have a lot of fans following them, to support them and all of that, then I can see how Þróttur R can actually win this match. But it's probably gonna be a close battle. My prediction is gonna be a 2-1, maybe 3-2, something like that. Because Afturelding, they're no pushovers, even though they lost 4-1 to Selfoss in round 1. They're no pushovers. They have a lot of goal scorers in their squad, which, given enough space or just a counter attack or something like that, they can easily score goals. Kind of like just ordering from a McDonald's menu or something like that. So yeah, if you can only choose one game to watch this round, I would recommend watching this game, Þróttur R versus Afturelding. I think that's gonna be a pretty interesting fight. So yeah. Next up we have Stjarnan versus KR Reykjavík. Stjarnan is a mid-table. It's supposed to be around mid-table finishers, while KR Reykjavík, it's gonna be a really tough season for them. So Stjarnan should win this with relative ease. KR Reykjavík is Well, actually, it's to be fair, KR Reykjavík, like a few other teams in this league, have a relatively young squad, so they can't, which are still being developed and all of that. So they're not ready for a game that big. At least I don't think so. So it should be quite easily for Stjarnan. So yeah, 2-0, 3-1, something like that. I just don't see KR Reykjavík getting any points from this match at all. Which leaves us to the last game. That should be a no-brainer. I know Keflavík won last round. I know Keflavík won last game 4-0, but yeah, this should be easy peasy for Breiðablik. Not even close. Breiðablik should win this like kind of similar like Valur versus Þór 4-0, 5-1, something like that. If you want to see a lot of goals, you should definitely check out Keflavík versus Breiðablik. If you want to see a close match where two teams are quite evenly balanced, then I would recommend watching Þróttur R versus Afturelding. I guess you could also watch Akureyri versus Valur if you want to watch goals, because that's going to be kind of a similar situation. And so yeah, one thing to note about the women's league that is a little bit different from the men's league is that the men's league have the dividing league where the top 6 and the bottom 6 are going to be separated after the first 11 games. The women's league is not that. It's just 10 teams. They play each other 2 times away and home, and that's it. When those games are done, that's it. That's the end result. The splitting of the league is a test project that is going on with the men's team. If it is successful, they will implement the same thing for the women's as well. But yeah, other than that, I got nothing more for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I'm still learning editing tricks and tips and all of that with a new editing software that I tried that I installed, and yeah, we'll see how that goes, and if I can't put a little bit more interesting factors into these videos, because you seem to want to watch them. I enjoy making them, even though it's just a few people watching them. But that's gonna be it for the day. Take care, and I'll see you soon.